Hello, folks. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. This is Tamir Qadree, the Dean of Dynamic Results. You tune into the Results Coach channel. And here we're all about getting results. But before I get started, let's go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit that little bell for further notifications. Okay? Hey, glad to share this subject with you today and be talking to you. Today we're going to talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. But not in the way you may think. Not in the way that's expressed in songs or movies and things of that nature. Now, let me start by saying first, this is not a video about sex being bad. It's not a moral video. It's not an encouragement or discouragement about sex either way. What it is about the sexual energy and the important role of the sexual energy in your life. See, when I say talk about sex, I'm talking about the energy of sex, that vitality that create you and me and create everything else, okay? Let me start by saying this, talking about sex. Sex is the most overrated thing that I know of in the world. The physical act of sex, that is the most overrated thing in the world. And it is most underrated, the energy of sex is most underrated for the spiritual value that it brings and the things that can bring into your life. Okay? So I'll say it again. The sexual energy, sex, the physical act of sex is the most overrated activity we can do. And it's most underrated as far as the mental and spiritual value of your creativity. See, we often abuse the sexual energy, not knowing what we're actually doing, okay? Anything we overdo, we generally overdo it to our detriment. Well, the sexual energy, that's your power. That's what a man and a woman get together and co-create and create a baby. If that seed, those seeds combined can create a whole human being, look at the power you're harnessing. Now, this sexual energy is very, very, very important to understand because it drives, it builds, and it can destroy if you're allowed to destroy you. It is neutral, but it's very, very powerful. Okay? People of high achievement often learn to transmute sexual energy into spiritual energy, into creative energy, into mental energy, where they can create all kinds of great things. Napoleon Hill, in his great classic called Think and Grow Rich, what I've read over 75 times, I know I have, if not more, it talks about transforming sexual energy into spiritual energy or into creative energy. He talked about how some of the richest people he studied over 400 of them, I believe, they all understood something about transformation of sexual energy. Whether they knew it or not, they utilized it if they want to get. So when you see people that are high achievers, that are great achievers, that are doing great things in the world, believe me, whether knowingly or unknowingly, they're directing their sexual energy into something spiritual or creatively, and not just physically. See, that energy is so strong. When we get the urge to have sex, most people, most of us, I decide to just do it physically. We just think about the physical presence of it. But what if you take that same energy, the same energy that create that baby, the sperm and that egg, take the same energy and bring the energy up and think creatively, how can I achieve my goal? What can I do to better myself? What can I do to better my life? To focus the energy on your life. That's what people that achieve great things actually do, whether they know it or not. They don't spend time running around dissipating their sexual energy. They do sex whenever they however they want to perform it. I'm sure they have time of pleasure and all that, and that's all okay. But the majority of your time, if you dissipate that sexual energy physically all the time, you're actually destroying your own creativity. You're actually weakening your cells. You're actually weakening your eyesight and everything else you do because you're overdoing it. Okay? It weakens your body. The muscles, the cells in your body are weakened because you're draining that powerful force. That sexual force is the most overrated when it's used physically like that. But it's most underrated, again, for its spiritual and your creative value. Now, folks, before I go further, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, hit that little bell for notifications, okay? Now, go back. We are talking about sex, sexual energy, not the physical act of sex, sexual energy. So when we get the sexual energy, we decide whether we're going to do physical or create with it. Most of the time, the average person, don't even think about that. They feel the sexual urge, they want to have sex because we're not taught that force is something greater than that force than just that. But if you look at most successful people, the highly successful people in your mind in life, look at them. If you talk to them, they will tell you, you know what? When they focus on their dreams and goals, they didn't have time to overdo that. Sure, they may do it in pleasure at different times. They didn't have time to overdo it. Okay? That energy, if harnessed, that create worlds, that create babies, the same energy can create anything. We see it in the tall buildings we see it in the way we can travel around the world, we see it in our electronics, we see it in our iPhones and different phones, we see it in our technologies. Those geniuses are geniuses because they harness that sexual energy and they use the power of thought to think in ways that are going to bring them more prosperity and joy and happiness and creativity in life versus just a physical demonstration of their sexual powers, which is really no higher than an animal, okay? Sex is the most overrated physical act we do or desire, and it's the most underrated for its power to create and where man can soar and discover new things. That's talking about sex. That's what I was talking about. Let's talk about sex. Listen, before we go further, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and that little bell. Again, listen, you want to understand the sex force. That is a driving force in all creativity. If that sperm and that egg can't create a baby, think about what you're letting out, what you're dissipating. So when you get that urge next time, try to relax and think, what can I do to create what I want to create? To build my dream. If you use that same energy for that, watch what happens. Hey, listen, hit the subscribe button, like button again, hit that little bell. This is Tamir Qadree, the Dean of Dynamic Results, this Results Coach channel. Please join me on TikTok and Instagram for more information. And also, if you'd like to donate something to the channel,